What is up, Marvel Universe fanatics? It is Ash Rock. Welcome to the top 50 Marvel Universe figures of all time. Video number 5, numbers 10 to 1. We have finally arrived to the top 10. Before I get to the top 10, first and foremost, I'd like to thank all of you for the love and support from the very beginning. As you guys know, Marvel Universe is near and dear to my heart, and that's the reason why I put these videos together. I took my time with them. I put a lot of effort into these videos, and it's because I have a lot of passion for this line. In particular, not only because it brought me to the YouTube world, but it helped me really get back to collecting. It helped me meet a lot of great people. I've made some of the most amazing friends ever. Matter of fact, these are friends that I know I will have for the rest of my life. And a lot of it is due to just simple toy line, as crazy as that sounds. But I have such a passion for this line and everything that it's done for me. And the YouTube thing has been an extra. It really has. The intentions were always pure. Just come in, talk figures, represent Marvel Universe, and have some fun with it. And that's all I wanted. I did not expect all of this, but we're here now, and I'm extremely happy. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Give me your top 10, matter of fact. Maybe you don't agree with mine. That's perfectly fine. But these are my top 10 Marvel Universe figures of all time. Play that funky intro.
That's crispy.
Number 10 on the list is Adam Warlock. This came in a 2-pack with Thanos in December of 2011, and I absolutely fell in love with this when it came out. I'm not too familiar with this character, and that's the crazy thing. I didn't know much about Adam Warlock. I still don't know much about Adam Warlock, but when it comes to action figures, you got to review these things objectively. You got to look at them as their own thing, regardless of scale and whatnot. It doesn't really matter, or how much you like a character, how much you dislike a character. Look at that head sculpt. Look at the amount of detail that went into a 3 3/4 inch head sculpt. It's absolutely phenomenal. And when I did my research on this character, I did start to like him a little bit more. But nonetheless, we're talking about the figure. And this one here, the amount of detail that went into the paint applications from head to toe, in particular his staff, as you can see right there, so much shading, so much just beautiful, well sculpted action figure. And that cape, the way it curves and everything, I absolutely love this figure. And he is in my top 10 of all time. Let's move on. Number 9 on the list is Hulk, series number 4, August 2012. Over the last couple of years in Marvel Universe, we had a ton of different Hulks, different 2-packs, 3-packs, Avengers packs. Single-carded ones were okay as well, but nothing in terms of regular Hulks beats this one right here. Detail, paint, head sculpt, just absolutely gorgeous. And the most articulation we've seen in a Hulk figure ever. You had all kinds of detail in the back, as you can see there, but overall the sculpt and the likeliness of the character is what really stood out with this figure, and I absolutely love it. And again, the articulation was immaculate as well. You got a ball joint hinge on the head, you had the upper thigh finally. So much justice was done to this character, and it was about time. Let's move on. Number 8 on the list is Colossus, Series 2, April 2010. Yes, Colossus! This is when Marvel Universe started to shift in the right direction, and he was a big part of that. This is one of the first bigger figures we got to see in the Marvel Universe line done correctly, and they did a great justice of this figure, from the head sculpt to the articulation to the paint applications. This thing came out phenomenal. There are different versions of this figure out there. There's different 2-packs. There's a 2-pack with a Juggernaut without a helmet. And then there's a 5-pack, I believe, of X-Men characters with the classic Colossus. But this one here is my favorite one. One of my favorite costumes as well is the astonishing X-Men look. He's such a great character, and that was when he actually came back into comic books as well, if you guys read that series. I love this figure. It is an amazing figure. Whichever variation you guys get one of them, because this is a very well done action figure. Let's move on. Number 7 on the list is Punisher, series number 4, August 2012, and a Punisher they finally got right. There have been 3 other Punishers before this one, 2 of them in series 1 with gigantic heads, not sure why, but they just never looked quite right. But then another one came out about a year or 2 later in a 2-pack. It was a Target exclusive 2-pack that was semi-better, but they utilized a different mold that I wasn't too happy with. Then finally they came out with this bad boy here. And the detail on this guy, the amount of weapons that came with this guy was phenomenal. And that's something that Marvel Universe fans did complain about a lot, was weapons with characters. How come they don't have a lot of accessories? When in most cases, most characters don't have a lot of weapons when you're talking about superheroes. It's usually the vigilantes, like Punisher, that will have those kind of weapons. And with this one here, double holster. He has a holster for his blade. It is just a great, great figure. And I highly recommend this if you guys are a big Punisher fan or just a big fan of Marvel Universe, because this one needs to be in your collection. Let's move on. Number 6 on the list is the Juggernaut, Series 2, April 2010. And again, part of that Series 2 snowball down the mountain effect where it just started rolling and got bigger and better over time. And he was part of that wave of greatness. A large figure when comparing to other Marvel Universe, but the amount of detail and craftsmanship that went into this figure is what's always stood out to me. They put in a lot of effort in him, and you can tell by the amount of detail in his armor all around, the likeliness of the character. The size comparison of the character compared to other Marvel Universe figures is absolutely great as well. And his articulation was immaculate. For a big character, we finally got to see some really cool articulation, and the mold was utilized quite a bit after this. This figure is amazing. I love it from head to toe, paint, articulation, detail, craftsmanship. Well worth the money. Go get your Juggernaut. Top 10 for show. Let's move on. Number 5 on the list is Thanos, Series number 2, October 2010. And classic would be an understatement. Now, this came out right towards the end of Series number 2, which obviously has had some great figures. And that's where we keep talking about Marvel Universe really shining. But this figure here just killed it, man, in every type of way. Now, there was another one that came out later on that was in a 2-pack with Adam Warlock. Okay, he did not have the Infinity Gauntlet with him. However, you can use this Infinity Gauntlet if you'd like, so it is interchangeable. The fact that he had an interchangeable hand was a really cool feature as well. You didn't see that much in Marvel Universe, but the fact that he had 2 hands, you could pop it off and put the Infinity Gauntlet on there was a really neat feature. This figure was recently re-released in Series number 5 without the Infinity Gauntlet, which kind of sucks. So if you're going to try to get this figure, obviously you want to get the original because you get that Infinity Gauntlet. But overall, this figure screams nostalgic. It screams amazing because of so much detail and work. The 2-pack one did have a slightly different head sculpt and obviously different paint applications as well. He is the more darker purple, but this one's actually my personal favorite. Just love that classic Thanos look, and they absolutely nailed it. Great job. Let's move on. Number 4 on the list is Apocalypse, Series number 3, April 2011. And in the beginning of Marvel Universe, I said, I want to see an Apocalypse figure so bad. And they finally gave us one by Series 3, and it was well worth the wait. Paint applications, likeliness of the character, the molding, the sculpting in the hands, and the various paint throughout this figure was amazing. And what was really cool is that they gave us a modern Apocalypse. That was one thing that Marvel Universe always did well at, was stay up with the comic books. This is more of the Second Coming, Messiah Complex type Apocalypse, and that's what we got here. If you wanted a 90s Apocalypse, you could kind of get that in the 5 or 6-pack. It was a 6-pack, a Toys R Us exclusive 6-pack with the certain paint applications that look like the 90s one. The A on the belt buckle is not really there or whatever, but nonetheless, either which way, you have a classic figure. And the fact that they did him so well, you can tell they took their time with this figure. The mold they chose was amazing. The articulation on this figure is amazing. And again, the likeliness of the character is really, really important. And I don't know. I was speechless when this thing first came out. I looked at it in the packaging probably for like a good 10 minutes before I opened the damn thing up. I absolutely love this figure. If it's not in your collection, please go copy yours. This is Marvel Universe right here. Let's move on. Number 3 on the list is Silver Samurai. This came out in a 2-pack with Wolverine back in March 2011. The Wolverine it came with is pretty much irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, but this figure is definitely not. Newer mold was introduced, and not only was a newer mold introduced, but newer articulation. One of the first figures we got to see a ball joint hinge on, we got to see ankle rockers on, was this figure right here. And besides the articulation factor, the sheer amount of detail in his armor is what really stood out. It wasn't just a plain silver throughout. You had different types of silver on this figure. The wash, the likeliness of the character, the little bolts and screws on him, everything about him really, really made this figure unique. And I did not expect this figure to be as great as it was. When I first saw this figure, I said, okay, cool, a Silver Samurai figure. I'm a big fan of Wolverine. I'm a big fan of Wolverine's Rogues Gallery. And they not only surprised me, but they absolutely killed it. And little details. He has a smaller sword, a shorter sword, then he has his longer sword, but he has a place to put both of them. Little holsters on the side of him right there that you can see on his left side. So that little detail, just the symbol on his chest, everything about this figure is amazing. I highly recommend this figure. I'm hoping that they would re-release this in the Infinite series as part of a single carded, because he is a little more difficult to come by these days. But if they don't, I still would spend the money to try to get this guy in your collection because he's just badass all around. Let's move on. Number 2 on the list is World War Hulk. Series number 3, December 2010. And when you're talking about Hulks, nothing beats this one here. Nothing. Phenomenal work. This figure defined at one point what craftsmanship was all about. When we first saw this figure, you couldn't really understand how well it was going to be till you got it in hand. And you saw the detail in the armor. You saw the detail in the clothing. The shield is kind of worn down. The weapons were kind of used and abused. And as a collector, these are the type of things you want to see in an action figure. These are the type of things you appreciate. And that's why, till the day I die, I will say Marvel Universe was all about the collectors, because it was made by collectors. And that's why it was so great, no matter what they try to throw at us. But this Hulk here, it just defined action figure. And the fact that, again, it stayed true to the comic books. It was a great comic book if you guys never read it. And to be able to bring that into real life is what's really, really awesome. And that's half the time what action figures are all about. You watch a movie, you watch a TV show, you read a comic book, and you want an action figure associated with it so you can pose it, so you can have it just stay there in time forever. And that's what this one does for me every single time I see this figure. It's a beautiful figure. It's not that difficult to come by. You have to have this in your collection. Absolutely phenomenal. One of the greatest of all time. Let's move on to number 1. The number 1 Marvel Universe figure of all time is Cable. Series 3, April 2011. And this figure redefined the Marvel Universe. This figure made people who didn't like Marvel Universe love Marvel Universe. Or maybe just this particular figure. But nonetheless, so much detail went into this figure. There is so much going on. 2 different guns. One big one, one smaller one. He's got the holster for the smaller one right there. But the amount of detail in the belt buckle, in the weaponry, the wash, in the spear was awesome. The fact that you can get the regular version and the little chest piece pops off, as you can see right there, gigantic hole, and you could put Baby Hope in there. So there is a Baby Hope, and you know, if you read the comic books, you're very familiar that he did take care of Hope for a very long time, and that's how he held her in his little holster. But this figure just is not only the best Marvel Universe figure, I'll go as far as saying this might be one of the best 3 3/4 inch figures of all time. Articulation, ankle rockers, he had double jointed knees, he had the hinge on the thigh, he had everything you could ask for, and none of it was really hindered by all the different pieces. But you can tell this figure was definitely crafted for action figure collectors, and it really, really stands true. And I'm so glad to have seen this figure not only come out. The only gripe most people would, maybe complain about is maybe a different variant would have been nice with like the 90s theme. But the variant that did come out for this figure was just one without Baby Hope. So that was the variant. It's basically like a running change. But nonetheless, this guy needs to be in your collection. If you collect Marvel Universe, or if you don't, or even if you're somewhat interested as you're looking through this list, this guy has to be in your collection, and the other 49 as well. But that's just my opinion. This is it. This was the top 50 Marvel Universe figures of all time. I want to know what you guys thought. If you guys agree, if you don't agree, that's fine. You have your own opinions. These are my opinions. In the comments section, you can go ahead and leave me your top 10 if you'd like. Share your opinions and what you think. But again, thank you guys so much for the support and love. Everything that this line has done for me in particular, bringing me all these great people and so much greatness out of it. And again, like I said in the beginning, the intentions were pure, and I'm very thankful to be in the position that I'm in to bring some entertainment to you folks and overall show my passion for this line. And it's been a great, great journey, and it's only getting started. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, remember to laugh every day. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.